I think families can really help their queer children by giving them a space to question their faith and come back around to it, or maybe not. I think my parents were really good at not making me do certain things just because it was expected of them.
I was very lucky because my family, my sibling, I'm fifth of 7 kids. You know, you think that's a lot, but like we're like practically the Brady Bunch. Anyways, I'm fifth of 7 kids, and my older sibling already came out as gay, and that was a huge transition. Then I had older siblings and sisters that had left the church, and so by the time that I started to recognize things about myself, my family was very loving and they were very understanding and supportive. There's some challenges here and there, but for the most part, I had a lot of support in my home, which I was very lucky.
I had a supportive family that loved me no matter what, but they were still very tied to that religion, and kind of backing away from it took time for them and for me because it was such a big part of my life. But they learned to love me, and more importantly, I learned to love myself in all aspects of it.
Sometimes I think parents are put in such a difficult bind. I think we as queer humans understand that bind, and I think our parents are navigating that alongside us, right? Of this like love of self, love of family, love of connection, and this love of religion, community, theology, understanding the divine plan. Because I think sometimes we talk about love as being the answer, and I think love is a great place to start. And I think the enactment of love is actually where the rubber meets the road and where it actually becomes really difficult and complex.
I think the most painful thing that families can do when they have family members that identify differently is when they ask them to be different or present different in front of their family. Is they ask them to not say certain things, or they ask them to not tell their family that they are or aren't something, or they ask them and their significant other to not look like significant others. And I think that is the most painful, is because you're asking them to not be themselves around what should be the most safe environment.
This is something that I kind of wish I had. It was the idea that I wish parents understood that what spirituality and religion was best for them is sometimes not always best for their kids. For any parents out there, this is just coming from my opinion, you have to be open to telling them everything, every good and ugly part about every religion, yours included. This is how we open and grow as people. This is how we learn how to decide what we want through life. You can't block any negativity that's being criticized about any religion, including your own. This has to be an open conversation. And if you can't handle that, then what? Do you really follow your religious values to a T then? If you can't be completely honest to your own kids about every aspect of your own spirituality?
I feel like maybe one of the things would be trust. I think trusting that capacity to care for and know your young human is a really important thing. I think sometimes parents can really doubt themselves and trust kind of that intuition. I think there's a lot of expectations put on parents and a lot of burden put on parents to be able to have it all figured out. And so I wonder if there can also be an ease and a breath for parents. I think as I interact with a lot of parents, sometimes the most helpful thing is just being able to take a breath and saying that we kind of have a soft place to land, that we're practicing new things, we're doing new things, and we're not going to get it right at the very beginning. And so if we can breathe and allow our full brain to be on like open and engaged rather than kind of in a fear kind of brain energy, I wonder if that would allow us then to do that creation a little bit better.
One memory I have was when my mom asked me if I was going to date other girls when I broke up with my last girlfriend. And that was the coolest thing for me because I was like, wow. She could have said, are you going to date again? Are you going to date another boy? Are you going to date this or that? Because being bisexual, you know, it could be either one, but she asked me, are you going to date another girl after this? And it was just, that was very validating and accepting to me, you know, is asking, when family members ask about your life and ask about these things, you know, my aunt, I'm sorry. Just before my aunt died a week ago, she asked me if my girlfriend and I had plans to have a family. And no one's ever asked us that. No one's ever asked my girlfriend and I if we plan to have a family, or if we plan to, what our wedding plans would be or would look like. And my aunt, right before she died, asked that. And it meant the world to me. And so I think for family members to ask about the things that we care the most about, whether they agree or not, but to ask and to show interest in something that deeply matters to us means the most.